Where do I even begin? We play West Ham tomorrow, but a massive 4-3 win against Wolves with Kobbie Mainoo getting us the winner. But that's just not all that we want to speak about him getting the winner, even though it was sensational. It's his entire performances up until that Wolves game where he got his first Premier League goal. It's a quick turnaround of games, and I have to improvise by putting in a review of Wolves and a preview of West Ham all together in one video. But we are capable, so we will do that. Thank you for joining me. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and if you're new, let's get into it. So I think against Wolves we played our best game. I think we played our best football in that opening half, and we certainly should have been about 4 or 5 nil ahead. But again, we wasted chances, just like against Newport, and we let Wolves come back into the game. We seem to have a lack of control in that second half, and most part of that was because we had to make changes. The likes of Martinez, Casemiro, Shaw, etc. These are players who are coming back from injury, need to be nursed back. Martinez, when he came off, had an ice pack put on his foot, not for anything, but just precautionary measures so that he can continue his fitness back into the team. We saw the difference when we had a strongest 11. And bar Onana and Bayender, which I'll speak about later with regards to West Ham, we had our strongest team against Wolves, and we played our best football, had our best game since the start of the season, in my opinion. We were never able to play like that unless it was last season. A lot of question marks were put on Rashford, and he quickly silenced his critics with an early goal. A very good goal at that, considering the type of play that we had leading up to Rashford taking that shot. That is the type of football that we can consistently see, but Ten Hag needs to have the players. Look at how we played when we had the likes of Mainoo and Casemiro in midfield and Varane, Martinez in defence, compared to when the likes of Johnny Evans, Scott McTominay, Harry Maguire, no disrespect to them, but when they came on, we certainly looked more shaky. We didn't look as solid. We didn't look as fluid when we were trying to attack. And we simply were capable of losing that game. But that never say die attitude that comes through the academy, that came through from Sir Alex, who was in the stadium, that worked in our favor with a elite mentality like Kobbie Mainoo, not making Max Kilman, Wolves' captain, simply shimmying his body to set himself up for the shot and curling it calmly into the far post. What a way to win the game. When we thought the game was lost at 3-3, we certainly did well to get into a 2-0 lead, and we should have killed the game off. But again, we are not able to do that, and that has been another problem throughout the season for us, not being able to kill teams off, because there's many games where we had fantastic starts, but we end up drawing or losing the game because we're not able to kill these teams. Going 1-0 ahead, 2-0 ahead is good, but if we cannot control a game, there's always a chance of us maybe losing it, maybe drawing the game. And that is what's apparent against Wolves. That penalty that wasn't a penalty, Virgil van Dijk is allowed to completely smash people in his defensive box and not get any consequence on that. Meanwhile, Casemiro grazes someone and it's given as a penalty, and they even checked it. It wasn't a penalty, but that changed the momentum of the game. That gave Wolves the confidence that they needed, and they pushed on. The goal that they got to bring it back to 3-3, I know Scott McTominay scored a header. That's quite normal for him, and it was a very good moment for him to come on and score, because again we were 3-1 ahead, a 2-goal cushion. We should see the game out, we should manage it properly, but we were not able to do so because of the changes that needed to be made. So we were a bit weaker in terms of our personnel on the pitch, and this is why I don't agree with the likes of Ten Hag outers, because if you look at how we played for that first 60 minutes compared to how we had to play for the last 30 minutes, you need to understand that with a proper squad, Ten Hag is the right man to take us forward. If he has the right players to bring on in a second half to make changes or to just keep that same energy level and tempo up and control of the game, then we certainly will be managing these type of games much better. But as I said, Kobbie Mainoo is the star. And against West Ham, our next game, you don't make any changes. You keep the same 11. As I said, I would rather have Bayern in goal because Onana was not convincing against Wolves. There were too many times when Wolves crossed the ball and he just stood on his line or waiting for someone to head the ball away or for the ball to land in a situation where he can claim it. Bayern against Newport showed a bit of confidence, came out, claimed crosses, made himself big. Onana for that 3-3 equalizer, for the 3-2, sorry, I'm not entirely sure what he is doing on the line and not closing down Kilman. The ball bounces at least, there's a bit of time for Kilman to wait for the ball to come down, claim the ball, take it off him, rush out for that small distance, and maybe you stop the ball. But standing on your line, frozen, that does not help. And against West Ham, we're going to be much more better. Ten Hag must not change the team. The same starting 11 has to play for reasons of rhythm, reasons of it's our strongest starting 11. It's also going to allow them to start playing together more regularly. Because if we have a consistent starting 11, then we can start seeing consistently good performances because they will then be able to remember patterns of play. They will be able to remember how their teammate wants to receive it, the runs that they make. And look at the goal that Hoyland scored. If it was just scrapping, the point is he was played in for a run that he made to the near post. He scored an offside goal, again a run that he made, and he finished well. He could have had more goals had we had a much better finishing ability against Wolves. But against West Ham, and we are playing at home, we certainly need to be consistent. Have that same control that we had against Wolves, because we will be playing at home, and West Ham are going to deploy a similar type of strategy, sitting back, defending, and looking to counter us, just like they did at the London Stadium when they won us 2-0. Now we are only 1 point behind them, and this is a very, very important game for us. We win this game, we go above them. And Aston Villa, if they drop points and we play them next week and win them, we might, and can be much closer to them. Of course, Spurs also above them. We need to win the teams above us if we want to have any chance of finishing in the top 4. And a team like West Ham, who are not going to be having the likes of Pakita, but Kudus returning from the AFCON, Bowen, you have Calvin Phillips who signed on loan from City. They have the players that can cause us trouble. We saw that at the London Stadium. But they won't be as adventurous at Old Trafford. And yes, we've only scored 15 goals at home this season. They've scored 18 goals away from home. We are and have shown to be defensively solid when we've had the likes of Varane and Martinez and Shaw in defense with Casemiro in front of them. Of course, you need match rhythm, you need match fitness. And you could see that against Wolves, Casemiro is getting there slowly but surely. But Kobbie Mainoo was the star, and against West Ham, we need to have a same type of level of performance. If we start well against West Ham, and we go 1-0 up, 2-0 up at most, then we need to look to continue to kill the game. And if we are 3-0 up in the first half, which we are capable of because of the amount of chances that we create, then that would be perfect, because then it allows us to relax and allows us to be more dominant on the ball. It would mean that West Ham must come out and actually press us a bit more in order to try and get something out of the game. It's a massive game for them as well, as much as it is for us. But it's more important for us because if we don't win West Ham, if we don't win Aston Villa, then top 4 is going to be very, very difficult for us to get. And we might be looking at a Europa League place to finish for the end of the season, which is something that I don't really want. I don't think you want it. But it is the reality that we face. If we are not winning against the likes of West Ham and Aston Villa next week, this is a massive, massive game for us. And if we are not on it, as I always say, we are probably going to lose. West Ham will come to Old Trafford with a bit of confidence because they won us in the previous league game, because they won us in that Carabao Cup game at Old Trafford, if you remember. So it's going to be a difficult game for us. We definitely need to be wary of David Moyes and the type of counter attacks that they want to play. We know their danger from set pieces. West Ham always have been good from set pieces. So we definitely need to be consistent and start winning games in a row. If we want to be in the top four, we can't win, draw, win, lose. We can't, like we've had in the first half of the season, where we win a game but then we go lose the very next game. We need to start winning, winning, winning. That is the only way I see, one, a future for Ten Hag at Manchester United, because the results from now till the end of the season will play a massive role in him getting a contract extension and being part of this new Manchester United under Ineos. And two, it's vitally important for us to finish in the top four, for us to have a kickstart to our new regime under Sir Jim and Ineos. But West Ham will be a tough game, and I'm sure it's going to be another game for us to enjoy to watch. I'm always excited to watch Man United regardless of what the result might be at the end of the game. So another big match to look forward to tomorrow against West Ham. Enjoy the game, drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Thank you for joining me in today's video. Till we see each other again soon, Red Devils. Bye bye.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content on Manchester United, like, share and subscribe.